Good evening and welcome to The Written Voice, a podcast where we will explore the hidden voice with Mr. Parvez Ahmed, a writer, poet, and a fashion consultant. In a world obsessed with perfection, Parvez Ahmed stands out as voice for the invisible, the hands, the hopes, and the heartbreaks behind the glamour. After unveiling the lesser known processes, best industry practices, and the harsh realities with behind the fashionable drapes, he now digs even deeper with between the scenes. It's a privilege to have him here today. Welcoming Mr. Parvez Ahmed.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, very good. Thank you very much for inviting me to Hayat Arts Studios. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's lovely having you here.
So likewise.
Let's talk a little more about your books, which I'm highly interested. I've seen it on Amazon as well.
Sure.
And so I wanted to know, your book Behind the Fashionable Drapes pulled back the curtain on an industry built on illusion. Whereas with Between the Seams, you go even deeper. So what is the truth, or what are you trying to convey through it?
Well, to begin with, when I was drafting the Behind the Fashionable Drapes, I had a lot of meaningful, deep conversations with a lot of industry professionals. And the more I spoke to them, the more I listened, the more I realized that these stories are never never told. These stories are some things which just go hidden and they die off. So when I connected with these people, it was like an urge for me to be able to highlight these stories to the masses, for people to know that these are the people, these are the staff who are working behind the scenes to make the runaway beautiful, to make the glamorous outcome that we see in displays and billboards and stuff. The real people who are working these things to make that a reality is something which I was trying to highlight.
That's a very nice way of putting it, because
Thank you.
every time we see the front, we don't see how it's going on in the back, and what you've portrayed is amazing.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I definitely have a lot more questions to ask you.
Absolutely.
You've most certainly met countless of people whose life are stitched into fabrics. What story hidden in the shadows of glamour demanded to be told between the seams?
Well, there are so many of them. So many of them. I have spoken to so many different people. But if you ask me that question, there's one particular thing that gets highlighted is when I was talking to one of this artisan. This person was stitching beads on a dress.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was speaking to this person has already spent 14 hours stitching that one panel of a dress.
14 hours.
14 hours, no jokes. And because the signature, the handwriting of his stitches that he does on the garments has to be unique, he was the only person who's assigned to do that, and that dress had 6 panels.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine the number of hours that he would have had to put
Definitely.
in individually to be able to make that complete dress. So those are things which needed to be told to the masses. This is uh, the kind of people who are basically working hard within the industry to be able to do all these things. So there's struggle, there is heartbreak, there is toil which these people go through, and they continue doing it in a very resilient manner. That hit me. That hit me hard. And these are the stories which the artisans and the embroiders, the sewers, the masters who are going through day in and day out. And I'm doing my best to be able to highlight these, to give them the limelight.
Of course. I mean, these are the ones because of which the garments look amazing.
Absolutely.
And
These are the real heroes, you can say.
Of course, definitely. Love the way you put that.
Hmm.
Okay. Behind the fashionable drapes was a revelation, whereas Between the Seams feels like a reckoning. I would like to know, how did your perspective shift between the two?
Between the Seams is about me searching for these people and trying to get to know them, trying to get their stories and to be able to put them out. So these are the real heroes who need to be acknowledged. Their work needs to be applauded, and that's a bridge which I'm trying to connect, because the work which these people do walks the runway in Paris, in Milan, in Italy. So, and these people don't get the recognition that they deserve. So what I'm trying to do is to be able to bridge that gap between the limelight and the people who are actually doing it, to give them that recognition, even if it means ruffling a few feathers, I would say. It's making my hair gray for all I care.
I mean, it does suit you. But yes, I do hope that what you're trying to do is like getting them
I
recognition
really hope
does
so.
happen,
I really hope
inshallah.
so.
In a world obsessed with surface beauty, Between the Seams dares to focus on the invisible hands, the silent sacrifices. Was there a moment during your research or writing that shook you personally to go ahead with this book?
Now that you've asked me, there's one instance which comes to my mind when I was in China in one of the factories where I saw the person who is a machine operator, and it's a special machine operator. There's something called a kansai.
Mhm.
It's a kansai machine is a multi-needle machine which the operators are really trained to be able to work on that. Not everyone cannot work on that. So that a person just opened up communication with me, and in broken English, in whatever way he could. And I just happened to have a casual conversation, and I asked him about his whereabouts and stuff. I learned that this boy, has never been to a mall.
Oh,
He has never in life been to a mall. They stay in the factory, in the surrounding areas, and that is their life, their entire life. That really shook me. The way these the people are living their lives, they do not have any awareness of the world outside. So that made me think, like, how badly do we need to have these people to get promoted to be able to live their life to their fullest capacity. So in whatever ways I'm trying to do that, I'm trying to give them the flexibility and the liberty to be able to get out of their shells and have a visible reckoning of the world around them.
well, that's got me emotional now.
These are the people who really need to get out there to be able to see what their work is worth, because they themselves do not acknowledge it.
I have no comments on this. I am still processing it right now.
That's the world we live in today.
That is true, of course. If behind the fashionable drapes expose the machine, behind the seams seems to expose the soul. Is this a deliberate evolution, or were the stories that pulled you in deeper to it?
I think I could, I wish I could say that I masterminded it all, but no. The stories pulled me in like quicksand. When I was speaking to these people, I was drowning in emotion, in heartbreak, and sacrifices that these guys have gone through, and uh, that's a part which I liked. I tried to frame these the stories, their struggles, into a readable matter, which Between the Seams is all about.
Amazing. The viewers definitely need to read this.
I wish and I hope it enlightens them when they read the book, to be able to understand that the toil and struggles of these artisans are what that keeps the fashion industry moving, and and the people in the higher authorities just seldom acknowledge it.
Most certainly so. Moving on with my questions for you. The title Between the Seams is evocative, or it's almost haunting. And what is it about the spaces between the unseen, the unspoken, that you feel that readers need to know about?
Well, today we live in a digital world, in a virtual world, where everything that we do is through Instagram, through social media channels and that stuff. And in these in these social media communication, there's seldom something which highlights the plight of these artisans and the people, the designers, the people who are struggling in the corporate world. So Between the Seams is like communicating with the readers and telling them to slow down, look where it matters, focus on the details which does not get the limelight. It's not everything is glitter and glamour. These are the real stories that needs to be told.
I mean, the way you have said that we do live in a virtual world, because it's rightly put, because every time we're on Insta or any social media platform for that matter, we are so occupied. We are in like so much information. We don't know what's right, what's wrong, and we don't know what is the right place to focus on.
True.
But
And many a times these because these are struggles of people, these are the late nights, the heartbreaks of these people, the toil that these people go through. It's not an Instagrammable
yes.
content, so therefore these don't come on the social media.
Yeah, I mean, even if they do put it on social media, they don't get the reach that they deserve.
You can say that.
Yep. Okay, this is going to be an interesting question. That's personally my favorite. With two powerful books now lifting the veil of the industry, do you see yourself as not just an author, but a voice for the silenced? How does this responsibility shape your vision going forward?
Well, I consider myself to be really lucky to work with some of the most amazing talents in the industry, from managers and directors that I have worked with, including the teams that I have worked with, and my juniors and the people that are from the factories and the warehouses that I have associated with. So it's a condensed manner of experience that I can say that I have gathered from each of them. And responsibility wise, yes, it's a heavy responsibility, and it's also motivating in a way to be able to be that person who brings these stories to light.
Most certainly. We do need more people like you, definitely.
There are many out there. I know a few of them, and those are the people that they have been a delight to work with, and they are some of them are my mentors, some of them are my seniors who I look up to in times of difficulties, and when I am in a fork, when I see a fork in the road. So yeah, there are many out there.
Okay, like work towards it, all of you.
Inshallah.
So we're finally down to the ending of it.
Finally.
Okay. So if readers could walk away from Between the Seams with just one unforgettable truth burning in their minds, what would that truth you want it to be?
Well, that's simple actually. As we all know, fashion is beautiful, but the people who make fashion are even more beautiful. Respect them, value them, honor them is what I would say to the generation who's now into fashion, who are learning fashion, who are associated with these peoples in the industry. If there is one thing that Between the Seams could convey to the people is if one person could get the benefit out of this book, then every late night that I have spent writing the book, every cup of coffee that I have drank mindlessly, every every notepad that I've torn and thrown away, every draft that I have rejected would be very much worth it.
I don't think there would have been a better response to this question. I mean, definitely when the readers read this, they will understand the amount of hard work and dedication you've put into this.
And that's my hope that they do understand the intensity, the degree of toil that goes into making the garment, which we just see, but we don't see the stories behind it. We don't see the hands, the hearts behind it who have made it up to this point.
As a writer myself, trust me, this book is amazing. Okay, for my last question, this is something I'm personally trying to ask you. And I know it's not going to be easy because both the books, Fashionable Drapes and Between the Seams, is completely different.
I'm feeling uncomfortable already.
I'm still going to ask you, which would you, as the writer of the book itself, would prefer reading over and over again, maybe?
Uh, well, the both the books have completely different content. While one is behind the fashionable drapes, is more into the technicalities of the processes and the procedures that is done on a daily basis in the fashion industry. Whereas Between the Seams is about the people, about their souls, about the workers, the designers, the technicians, the quality assurance people, mid-level managers, directors. It's about them. It's about their stories and the struggles that they face in the fashion industry. So both are a good read, and I think at least once both of these books should be read for people to get an insight into the fashion industry.
My question still hangs. What would you prefer?
Well, given a choice, I would say that people may find the Between the Seams more interesting because it is about people. It has characters. It has emotions. It has laughter. It has a personal touch. It has a soul. Whereas Behind the Fashionable Drapes is a technically drafted, more like a manual of a book for people who are into the fashion industry will be able to resonate with.
That makes a better answer. Thank you so much for taking us through the journey of your writing as well as behind the operations. And it was a pleasure talking to you, knowing a lot more about, how the working goes on and how people don't get highlighted. And it was a pleasure having you here. Thank you
It
so
was my
much.
pleasure to take you through.
With Behind the Fashionable Drapes, he opened the door. With Between the Seams, Parvez Ahmed Peshimam throws it wide open. If you want to understand the real heartbeat of the fashion world, you'll find it stitched into every page. Paperback and the hard case are now available on Amazon, and you should definitely get yours today. Follow Hayat Arts podcast for more interviews of talented artists, authors, and designers. Until next time, adios.